Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Shows Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, and I want to talk about Tisha Scott from Love and Marriage Huntsville suggesting that Melody and Martell both wanted the core six of LAMH to not discuss the cheating on Martell's part on the show. Now, this is during a recent interview with DJ Richie Sky, and then I'm going to show you all a reunion clip where definitely it was suggested that only the men made a pact to not discuss certain things. Now, before we get into these sound bites, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these sound bites are allowed. Okay, so as you can see, DJ Richie Sky, he's a huge long-term YouTuber, interviewed Tisha Scott. On his YouTube channel under the videos tab, he has uploaded at least two videos from their conversation. And so he has uploaded them according to topic. So you can definitely check those out. They're not very long. I would estimate between watching the two of them, they are a combined 15 minutes. In this soundbite, DJ Richie Sky is going to ask Tisha about her friendship with Melody, and Tisha is actually going to say that she has to give some background, and she's going to talk about, Martell's cheating. I thought that was interesting right off the bat, since his question was about friendship, but I'll circle back around to that when I give my commentary. Just a heads up, there will probably be like a commercial break, and then after a few seconds, I'll hit the skip button, and then their conversation will resume. Okay, let's get to it.
So I got to ask you about you and Melody.
Okay.
Y'all used to be so close.
Yeah.
Do you think it was the show, or do you think it was what she was going through that ultimately led to the demise of your friendship? And where do you guys stand today?
Okay. I think I should give a little background first.
Okay.
So, before the show, Mel and Martell, the Scotts, we was all really close. We hung out all the time, speaking out of each other's house, got up in the morning, cooked breakfast, talk, everything. Then when the infidelity happened with Martell, was like 2 years before we started filming this show. We was there for Mel, the whole process, there for her, helping her through it, talking her out of doing crazy things like this social media stuff. We talked them out of that years ago, because that's what they wanted to do. That was something Mel wanted to do back then. And then her and Martell made up, and we just didn't hear from them for maybe a year. I would say a year. We didn't hear from them until it was time for this show. They called us to a meeting. They was like, hey, guys, we want to let y'all know we pitched a show idea to Carlos, and we told, I don't know if they said Carlos. They said they pitched the show idea, and we told them about the comeback group. And they was like, will y'all be willing to do an interview with them to talk about the comeback group? We was like, sure, fine, yeah. And so, now the rest is history. We got the show and everything. But prior to that, we had honestly stopped talking because at that time, she was saying that Martell blamed the guys for him stepping out. And so that within itself just put a strain in our relationship. But it was no bad blood. It's like, you stop hanging out with people. It is what it is.
Yeah.
When the show comes on, so you guys see that our relationship is still iffy, but we talk about it. And when I asked her, what happened? Why did we stop talking or whatever? And I forgot the response she had. But that's where all of that came from. And then on the show, you see, them talking about the infidelity, and then it just put a strain in our relationship because we honestly thought they was over it. When we got picked up on the show, we thought they was over everything. It happened and they had moved forward. So on the scenes with us joking about it, we honestly didn't know how to handle the questions because we was also asked not to talk about that on the show by Mel and Martell. They asked us not to talk about it. It was like, fine, okay. So when the producers asked us about it, we were like, we didn't even know y'all knew. So in my scene with Marceau in the bedroom, and I'm like, you know, what's going on with Martell? You know, you need to talk to your boy. I'm gonna talk to Mel. You talk to your boy. Let's figure out what's going on. Because I just didn't know how to approach it on the show because we was asked by them not to talk about it. But then we have the producer saying, this is reality TV. We know what's going on. You guys are gonna talk about it.
Right.
So I think that within itself just really added to the fire of our relationship, I guess. And then the big coffee scene where, you know, Martell was like, you know, Marcel and Martell had that moment. He told Martell he slept with 20 women. And then at the coffee scene where you hear me and Mel talking about it, and I'm like, why is Martell lying? And she was like, well, how do you know it's a lie? And I'm like, well, first of all, I do know facts about your relationship that I haven't even said on TV. So if we don't speak the truth, if you're trying to put this out here about my husband, I'm going to speak facts and truth about y'all's situation. Yeah.
I want to.
Okay, so Tisha was asked the question by DJ Richie Sky, you know, where does your friendship with Melody stand? You know, DJ Richie Sky, he's a very positive and pleasant person. I've never even heard him curse. I've watched him for years, and I even remember when he said at one point in his life he was wondering if he was led to preach. You know, he just seems like he's such an empath, you know. So it doesn't surprise me that he would ask a question, because he even said it where he was hoping, like there was some hope, like where are you all with your friendship? And Tisha, she decided to go back. It's one thing if you want to say what led up to two people not being friends, but what was the significance in saying that allegedly Martell and Melody wanted no one to talk about the infidelity in their marriage? And that just doesn't make sense to me, because Melody, she's always been very forthcoming about the issues that was in the former marriage, like when it was back season 1, when season 1 was present time, when season 2 was present time. Melody talked about it. She would get emotional in some of her confessionals. I can remember the episode when Martell needed surgery on his Achilles, and they gave him the medicine which was causing him to talk very slowly. And he said, you know, and you're going to take care of me, and I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do that. And it made Melody get emotional in the car when she was leaving the hospital, and she called her mom and said that it almost felt like the old Martell. So she's always been an open book when she was on that reality TV show. I'm not sure why Tisha felt the need to say that both Martell and Melody did not want anyone to discuss their infidelity. And also, in terms of the comment being made about Marceau and the 20 women, Martell was the one who made the comment. So it seems like your focus would be on, if you're going to give history, like she said, if you're going to give some background, like she said to DJ Richie Sky, it seems like that would have been the focus. That would have been the focus, that comment that he said and that number, and how that upset you. And then she did talk about the infamous coffee scene where she and Melody met like at a coffee shop, and they were discussing things. And really what pissed off Tisha, she didn't get the response that she wanted about, you know, oh, I wanted you to give me condolences when I lost family members. And then she didn't like Melody's response. And then they got into talking about Ariane. So it's just a bunch of dots that are not connecting. So I just want to talk about the whole idea of the people agreeing not to talk about certain things. And oh my gosh, y'all, I was up late last night. I watched 3 all 3 reunion parts of the season 3 reunion because my mind thought, I think it's the season 3 reunion. I watched all 3. That was like over 2 hours plus commercials, probably close to 2.5 hours. I did not hear those words that I needed. I was like, no. And I said, you know what? I think it was from the season where they had the melee at the relaunch. So that is season 5. So I watched the season 5 reunion. I heard the soundbite, and then it's probably like about 1:30 a.m. I did not have the energy to make this video. So I said I have to do it in the morning, but I found the reunion episode. So let's go ahead and listen to who brings up the agreement not to say on certain things and who elaborates on it. Okay, let's get into all of that, and then I will come back with my commentary.
Okay, there seems to be this respect, albeit small, to where you guys aren't willing to go dark and expose people, which I think that goes to show the level of...
No,
Carlos, that's not true. We wasn't willing to go dark and expose
everything that they would have, they'd throw it against us.
Absolutely.
We have never brought anything up ever.
But you saw the 20 woman thing.
Right, you too.
No, but I'm just saying, but the thing is, at the end of the day, like Carlos just said, there's certain things that us guys that we know that we'll never expose. So therefore, don't sit up here and say that anything that Melody and Martell know that they put it out. That's because I have not and I won't.
When
Okay. In such a short soundbite, I think that was just 30 seconds, but that was a loaded soundbite. So Carlos brings it up. You know, you all have this understanding as to talk about certain things. You don't want to expose anyone. And Tisha interrupts and says, no, Carlos, we agreed not to expose anything about them. And Martell he's ready to defend himself, like, well, what are you talking about? And Marcel's like, well, you're the one who made the 20 women comment. And Melody isn't saying a word because she's been it and she ain't in it. And then Martell says, well, yes, us men decided that we would not talk about certain things. So, and then Martell goes on to say, so there are things that I could expose, but I won't. And I'm paraphrasing. And we all know that he has reneged on that promise because he and Ariane interviewed the alleged mistress. And then we all remember that ghetto horrendous field day scene during last season where he talked about some of Tisha's alleged rendezvous with the gentleman in the back seat of a vehicle, allegedly. I'm just repeating what he was saying, Tisha, and paraphrasing, Martell. So we all know that he did call himself exposing once he was mad at them. But see, this season, this was season 5, the season of the melee, at the relaunch of Madani. Tisha came to this reunion, just pissed off at Mel. This is when she called her a dark soul. It's when she brought out the goofy looking puppets. And so because she was mad at Melody, Martell, he wanted to soften any blows. He wanted to be cool with them. So, he was trying to almost insinuate that anything put out there about Marceau cheating, Melody did. In my opinion, that's how I interpret it. And Marceau said, but you're the one who made the 20 women comment. And that's when Martell said, oh, yes, well, us men, we agreed, not to expose certain things. So in talking to DJ Richie Sky, Tisha suggested that both Melody and Martell wanted that. But at this season 5 reunion, it was Martell who said that the men decided to keep each other's secrets. And at this, see, when I watch all those reunion parts, you get them mixed up. So like if you go back to the season 3 reunion, the men definitely covered, because at the season 3 reunion, Carlos asked the men if they had ever seen Martell and Ariane together. Maurice answered no immediately. and he was lying because Marceau told the truth and said yes. And Marceau was saying, you could kind of tell that they had some sort of connection, but he didn't agree with it, basically is what he said. And he told Tisha that he saw them together. And Tisha said at the reunion, allegedly, that she let Marceau know that she did not think that was cool. Then the reunion goes on break and they eat lunch. And Tisha says to Marceau, why would Maurice lie and say that he didn't see Martell and Ariane together? And Marceau goes, I don't remember Maurice being there. And she says, now you want to lie. So they definitely cover for each other. Why? Because that is the agreement that they had. The women did not have that agreement, which is probably why you had the season 1 scene at the coffee house where Tisha brought up Ariane and the matching vehicles. That is why, because the women didn't have that agreement, only the men. And Martell says it at the season 5 reunion, and this is part 1. So Tisha, I'm not really sure why she would bring up Melody for them not wanting to bring up the infidelity. But that is what inspired this video. What do you all think about the revisionists of history and just the retelling of facts as they happen, especially when us viewers at this point, we've seen a great deal of footage where we could even debunk it ourselves. I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. I hope that you all are having a great weekend. I cannot complain. It's been very chill. Friday night after work, I did go see the new Marlon Wayans movie called Him. And y'all, I can't remember the last time that I walked out on a film. I am guessing, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe I was in college or in my 20s. Like, I usually watch movies all the way to the end. Most of the time, movies are not that bad. But that film I did walk out on. It's classified as horror, but it wasn't scary. And to me, it just seemed like a bunch of random scenes put together. Marlon Wayans isn't bad looking. And also the other young man who's like the lead, he's definitely fine. They showed his body because he played an athlete. So I enjoyed the scenes where his shirt was off because he was definitely fine. But other than that, the movie made no sense to me. And then yesterday, Saturday, I walked at the park. It was sunny and warm. I enjoyed it. I walked for 4 laps, 50 minutes. I think that's 2.25 miles. And then I went to the gym and I walked for a couple more miles. And then I worked on the lower body, like the leg press and the leg curls and lunges and squats. And then I just chilled at the park and watched movies, right on my phone. And then today I have made some content. And of course, I'll get some exercise and go grocery shopping. But I think I probably won't really be at the park today because I think I'm going to wash my locks and set them with perm rods and the pipe cleaners, but I always talk myself out of that because I have 139 locks, I've been told, and I just don't feel like doing all of that, but I might do it this evening. We shall see. But again, I hope you all are having a great weekend, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.